According to Renato Moicano, Tom Aspinall had the option to continue following the eye poke, but decided against it for business reasons. To head into the rematch as the champion and still get pay-per-view points, something that would have vanished if the fight had been declared a loss, Moicano thinks the champion wanted to maintain his title. According to Renato, injury safety wasn't the only consideration. In the heat of the moment, most fighters wouldn't even consider making such a planned financial move. In the meantime, Andy Aspinall, Tom's father, is urging the UFC to take measures to stop a recurrence of this incident. He asserts that before a fighter sustains irreversible harm, the promoter must address glove design and eye poke regulations. The doctor warned them that things could have gone horribly wrong, Andy further disclosed. Tom might have sustained a tear behind his eye if he had been booted in the head immediately following the poke. With all the criticism surrounding the bout, it's a frightening idea that the UFC may finally need to take eye pokes more seriously. It is anticipated that this rematch will happen at UFC 323 in December or January 2026. Let's get started.
He could fight, but I think he made a decision. A business decision, yeah, because he thought, okay, because if he was Cyril Gane, he would not stop, because otherwise he's not gonna get the title shot.
Yeah.
But he's the champion, he's gonna make money as a champion.
Right.
So he could fight, but he chose not to do it.
Yeah.
So is that chicken out? I don't know, maybe.
Yeah. So you think he just made a calculated decision?
No, I think 100% he got hurt. Probably he cannot see with the eyes,
Yeah.
But what I'm seeing is some people can fight without the eyes,
Right. I mean, but Cyril Gane is such a good striker. Like, to fight that guy with one eye is crazy, bro. Like, you're gonna get knocked out.
Yes, especially a heavyweight.
And the fact that he gets to keep his belt and now do a rematch with pay-per-view points as the defended champion, it just makes so much more sense. If he continues and gets knocked out, his whole career could change. Look what happened with Anthony Smith.
I believe so.
Former champions Henry Cejudo and TJ Dillashaw, who are renowned for their fight IQ, have both discussed how Umar Nurmagomedov could be able to fully unravel the mystery surrounding Merab Dvalishvili. TJ discussed what he believes went wrong in Umar's most recent performance and how to correct it on the Jackson podcast. He emphasized that Nurmagomedov's cardio weakened late in the Bautista battle, which is just unacceptable when facing a monster like Merab. Dillashaw had a straightforward solution: get Umar to practice in the training lab with Sam Kelvita, the same coach who shaped Khamzat Chimaev's endurance system and Dillashaw's illustrious MMA career. Dillashaw referred to it as the secret weapon, claiming that Umar could maintain a championship pace for 5 rounds and truly equal Dvalishvili's energy rather than being overwhelmed by it thanks to his scientific preparation. Cejudo also contributed, evaluating Merab's tactics and shortcomings based on his personal battles with him. Let's get started.
Don't back up. There's another thing that I will say about Merab. Merab's a pressure fighter, but he's a movement and a pressure fighter. So the more that he's able to have the movement going forward, the more that he's able to set up everything that he wants to get. So I feel like if you do change the movements either laterally, if you watch that first round with me, you'll see a little bit of what I was doing until I got tired, bro. Until that growing. Anyways, and that's the way. You stay in the center and you fight the dude. But if you go backwards and you allow him to kind of start getting that rhythm going of forward pressure, because he's offensive when he shoots, it's I think those are his best chances. And I do feel like he doesn't. I would just work on my takedown defense. That's it. And stay in the center, bring the fight. Typically, Merab always kind of loses the first round. He lost it with me. He lost it with him. He lost it with Corey.
The Russian podcast, which is hosted by Salah Hufu, a personal friend of UFC welterweight contender Shavkat Rakhmonov, dropped a bombshell in a recent episode of Nisa TV. Rakhmonov is no longer active in MMA. Solo went into further detail, stating that Shavkat hasn't entered the octagon in a full year due to injuries sustained following his narrow victory over Ian Machado Gary. The layoff isn't the only aspect of retirement. Rakhmonov is angry at the UFC and the method it uses to select the next contender for the belt. Team Shavkat feels he deserves his chance, but he is disappointed that the UFC still gives preference to the biggest names over talent. Even though he missed a few months due to his injuries, the announcement of his retirement begins to make sense when you consider the entire year-long absence. Dana White was even informed of his choice, and his public response gave this developing welterweight storyline a new dimension. For months, there have been rumors that he will compete against Kamaru Usman in a title eliminator. However, the bout never happened, and Kamaru defeated Wim Buckley instead. I'll say the same thing again. I now advise you to pay close attention to what I have to say. I am aware that Shavkat will stop fighting. As I mentioned earlier, Shavkat trains every day. You're saying that the only evidence you have that he will fight is that he is training? All right, let him practice. What the heck? I am aware that he can practice as much as he likes and that he will no longer fight. In November, it will have been a year since he entered the cage. 1 year. The lads from Shavkat may engage in combat. The bout is scheduled for November 16th to 22. Shavkat would have to battle them before he could compete for the title. They wouldn't offer Shavkat a title bout if he engaged in combat with other people. For instance, he would not be eligible for a title chance if he fought opponents like Buckley. Shavkat would not receive his title shot for at least another 6 months. That implies that it will have been a year and a half since his previous cage fight. I promise you that Shavkat Rakhmonov will never again engage in combat.
I don't know if anybody expected him to do what he did. You don't know what to expect from that guy. In this sport, man, you never know what's going to happen. Anything is possible.
Listen, these guys, at some point, everybody's going to move on, and everybody has to do what's right for them and make money for their families. So, you know, whatever they got to do, they got to do.
Dan Hooker recently stated in an interview with Sky Sports that he is done being the only entertaining player on the card. Simply put, he wants the belt. He gave an explanation for why he isn't aiming for Justin Gaethje next, saying he isn't that man and that Arman Tsarukyan is the true route to a championship. Hooker revealed his mentality beyond tactics and matchups, stating that he won't pretend to be someone else to gain favor. He made a clear jab at the Colby Covington strategy when he stated that he would rather be despised for being himself than be adored for having a part. In November, the Hangman will face Arman Tsarukyan at UFC Qatar. Naturally, El Matador's decision to remain at lightweight and not push for the Islam Makhachev fight at 170 is taken into consideration when choosing the next contender for Ilia Topuaria's title. In any case, let's listen to Hooker's thoughts.
It's that Arman is the best guy. He is the best guy. This is the fight. Like, if I beat Gaethje, there's still like, that's just like a fun fight. Like, you had to make a decision. It's, do you want to just be an exciting fighter that puts on great shows and great knockouts? Because at times in my career where that was unthinkable to me. You know what I mean? Like, I just want to be that exciting guy that gets knockouts. Then you're like, oh man, I want a main event. And then you main event, you're like, oh, well, what's next, you know? Justin Gaethje's not that guy. Justin Gaethje's not that guy. Justin Gaethje doesn't get me to that guy. Justin Gaethje gets me a headache and some more money. Like, who cares? Arman Tsarukyan is the path to the title.
I appreciate you watching. For daily MMA news, remember to subscribe and leave a like.